Alright, we're gonna be installing GFCI outlet here in this spot right there. I just needed an outlet over here for a BioBidet here. I'm gonna be planning to install, which I need to plug it in. I didn't have a direct access to the outlet there, so I decided to go ahead and create one. There's attic on the top where I can drop the wire straight down to this right here. When I used the stud finder, I knew that there was a stud running vertically right here. But also when I was checking it from ceiling down, our stud finder found there's this horizontal stud running here. Now, the horizontal stud running here can be in two directions. So let me show you what I'm talking about real quick. So here are the two options I drew out that could be behind the wall. The first way the contractor might have installed horizontal stud in this manner. So let's say this is sheetrock, the front sheetrock, pretty much the wall, and behind it there's a vertical stud here and vertical stud right here. If the contractor installed the stud in this vertical manner where you have some gap between the front edge to the stud itself, you have some gap, you can run the wire through that gap and then install the outlet down here. And that's the scenario that I was hoping for, but again, I can't see what's behind the wall. Is I had to figure out does that scenario is happening, or the second option is the contractor might have installed this way where you have a sheetrock, two studs, and there's a horizontal stud. Now this one is laid out kind of horizontally here, perfectly like flat. Then if that's happening, then it goes from edge of this vertical stud to edge of the other side. That means you have no space between this sheetrock and this horizontal stud itself. And if that's happening, then you won't have a way to run the wire down. This stud gonna block it. So I had to test that out, and the way I tested it out, I'll show you how did I test it out, which scenario it's happening. So in order to figure that out, how the studs are running, I went to Home Depot and I got this fishing wire, and I got these magnets. They're pretty strong. So what you want to do is pull out the fishing rod and stick the magnet on one side like this, one of the magnet, and then grab the second magnet and put it on the other side, so that way they like sandwich the fishing rod together. This is what it looks like after you sandwich those two magnets together. Now this goes behind the wall, and then you're gonna have other sets of magnet right here, which is gonna be you holding it outside of the wall, and then they'll be able to snap to one another once they find the sweet spot. All right, so the idea is you're going to be inserting a fishing rod from the top, from the attic behind the sheetrock. Pretend this paper is a sheetrock or a wall. Then you push it down between those two, vertical stud. And I've made a hole here so you can see, the magnet is going to be right behind that sheetrock. And then what you need to do is grab this other set of magnets in your hand, stand in front of the wall, and just trying to find it. Once you find it, it'll just snap like that, and boy, does it snap. Even through the sheetrock, it should snap. So once that happened, then you can just guide it down. You can guide it down through this, against the front sheetrock right here, through this gap right here, and then you should be able to just guide it down to the where you need it. And if that's happening, that means you have this scenario happening. But let's say if you do that and it stops here, and no matter what you do, you cannot push it down due to the even with the magnets, you're not able to push it down along the sheetrock right here. Then that means you have this flat scenario happening where the 2x4 is flat and you don't have no gap between the sheetrock and the horizontal 2x4. If that's the scenario, then what you have to do, you have to probably cut the hole here on the sheetrock, and once you do that, then you have to drill a hole through this stud, and you should be then able to guide it down. The reason I use magnet is I wanted to make sure that fishing rod stays flat against the sheetrock, because we don't have a whole lot space to play with here. This magnet helps to guide it down along this front wall, and because I was able to guide it down, I knew that I had scenario 1 going on, and that's what I was hoping for. And then I just made a just a cut wherever I needed to cut below that horizontal stud, and that's what you saw upstairs. Based on this diagram and use of magnets along with the fishing wire, I was able to determine the horizontal stud that's here, it's not like flat like this, it's more like vertical like this. Because of that reason, I have some space between the front wall, or I'm calling it sheetrock, and also the stud. So I just wanted to make sure that there's a space, and I wanted to make sure that the wire, fishing wire, goes all the way down. The reason I wanted to find out that I can able to go past, because I wanted to install that outlet down there and not up here somewhere. So I just wanted to make sure that wherever I cut the hole, it's the final hole on the sheetrock. So once I was able to guide it down, I cut the hole, and now you can see that I have already installed the GFCI outlet there and ready to go. But this whole video was just to kind of help you out to figure out how can you find out what's happening behind the wall, because there's no way for you to look at what's happening behind the wall, or you cannot just start cutting hole everywhere and put your head in there to figure out what's going behind the wall. Thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you liked it, and hopefully you learned a couple things new, and I'll see you next time with another video.